The Carolina Panthers have their new GM. They're making moves, okay? They're making moves. They're shaking and jiving, as they say. All right, look.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. They shaking and baking. They got, they put the chicken in the thing. They throw it in the oven. They ready, okay? They ready. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that and much more right here on the Keep Prowling podcast. I'm your host, DJ Beal, and I'm back once again. I'm gonna put that on a shirt so y'all can just carry it with y'all wherever y'all go. But I'm back once again with Charity Bailey. How you doing? You doing all right?
I'm good.
It's funny.
Why wouldn't I be good, DJ?
It's funny. Before we came on, we was talking about this, and I said I was going to invite you on before the Packers thing happened.
See, he's trying to be shady. That's why he's asking if I'm good.
No, I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure because I've been there. When you ready to just take the lead and the kick just goes wide right, like I've been there, okay? I've been there.
Well, there was that,
literally,
and then
it was
Jordan
like
Love
10
did
years
throw
ago.
an interception.
He did
at the end of the
He
game.
did.
However, I will say it again and again and again and again and again. The Packers do not need to hang their heads low. That was a heck of a game, and Jordan Love put the league on notice, as far as I'm concerned, that baby Love grew up right in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, the game ended the way that it did, but he led that team as a new quarterback, a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. This is his first year under center as the face of the franchise and the starter. And people in San Francisco, my friends and family included, were on the edge of their seats. They were scared. The fellas that I was watching with were like, oh my gosh, because people who know football didn't necessarily count us out, but even I was scared. Like, I was like, I don't know. Because this season has not been a good one for the Packers. Like, it's been wonky. And nobody expected the Packers to come this far. So they came this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. And so I am just good. I'm good. Like, if it was a blowout, I would have been upset. But no, that was a very good game. And again, even my friends that were trying to taunt me, weren't even really able to taunt me the right way because they were like, "Yo, your boy is for real." Except my Cowboys friends.
I will say that's funny. That is funny because, as I watched Jordan Love throughout the season, it started from the Chicago game. The way he played in the Chicago game, I know it's Chicago, I get it, but the way he just kind of continued that Packers momentum over Chicago. It made me feel like, okay, there might be something special about this dude because I haven't really seen him play as much.
Nobody
right?
has.
So
yeah.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm deferring to Charity on this one because I don't know. She know. I don't know. I'm just gonna watch with open eyes.
Know.
Hey, I'm just gonna watch with open eyes. You have faith. You did. You was lean team guy. But
we've come this far by faith.
If you know anything about a podcast with me, you're going to get some sort of laugh and you're going to get some sort of singing. It's just going to happen, okay? It's just going to happen. It's just how it's going to be.
Listen, I'm a church kid, but it's true. Now, the Panthers need some kind of faith now, too.
They do, and they just hired. We're gonna jump back into those playoff games here very, very soon. But let's jump into the Panthers news first because I know it's what y'all. I get it. It's what y'all here for. I understand. Okay, but Dan Morgan, the new Panthers GM, former player, has plenty of experience in the league in terms of being in the front office. Right, pretty much since he retired. I mean, considering his years of experience. It seemed like he might have been trying to sneak up there when he was playing a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you because his experience coincides. So I agree.
Because players should be thinking about their next career because the average player is only suited up for about 3 to 5 years. If you get anything past that, then you're good. So I am not very familiar with this Dan Morgan person. I know that he was a linebacker for the Panthers?
He was a linebacker for the Panthers, I think, for 7 seasons. He had one 100-tackle season and a couple of 70-ish tackle seasons. So, he's had some success. He's a college Hall of Famer, which actually the Carolina Panthers, shout out to them, put out an article on 5 things about him just so you can learn about him a little bit more and know his football knowledge. And one of them was talking about that college Hall of Famer aspect. He's been great in the game, and he's shown like, hey, like I can play the game. I know the game. I know the X's and O's. But it seems like he's worked his way up and learned the personnel too. Because another one was climbing the scouting ladder. He's been around these guys, you know, in the suit and ties and everything. He's been around these guys for 14 or so years, right? So he's had plenty of time to learn from other people, right? Now, what that means now, considering the GMs that the Panthers have had.
But he was a part of those regimes, right?
Yes, and he was a part of those regimes, so it makes you think.
I don't know.
But you know, sometimes you can be, and this is my thing, I'm Mr. Optimistic, y'all know this, but sometimes you can be around suspect leadership, but that not be the leader you become.
This is true. You can learn
what not to do.
You can learn what not to do.
What mama say?
Listen, do as I say, not as I do. And okay, listen, I know folks on social, they listen to the podcast and they chime in. So I want to know what y'all think. Exactly. What do y'all think about this Dan Morgan hire as the GM? I know that they're still looking for a new coach, but the GM piece is very important as we've seen it play out for the Panthers over the years. Yeah. This article that you were referencing, put out by the Panthers, the 5 things. They say he has a first-round track record.
Absolutely.
Okay,
he was drafted in the first round. Yeah.
Climbing the scouting ladder. Okay, that he's a college Hall of Famer. That he's familiar with personnel. Now, to your point, DJ, he's familiar enough to not repeat the things that they've done in the past. Mm-hmm. Is he familiar enough to conquer those things? Yep. A big one here. They say he's ready to build around the quarterback. Duh.
Yeah, you got to.
So are you guys going to give him the missing pieces and put a O-line around him that can protect him? Like, what do y'all think? Y'all like this Dan Morgan hire?
And it's interesting to see because the thing about it is he is a former player, and there are not a lot of former player general managers. You got John Lynch for San Francisco. He's obviously done a pretty darn good job. Martin Mayhew
get on my nerves.
No, I bet he do. But you know, them players they got. Look, them players they got. Hey, I'm just saying, bring some of that over here.
Well, but also, okay, I'm no shade to Dan Morgan. Anytime somebody say no shade or whatever, some shade is coming. But I don't mean it in a shady way. Is what I'm saying. Is that? I mean, but he ain't the same as Dan Morgan.
That's true. Yeah.
Like in terms of players, you know, wanting to play for him and respect him and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He gonna have to earn that.
Yes, he has a very different legacy than Dan Morgan.
Right.
He still get on my nerves. But
right. Fine. Which I thought John Elway was a GM. Is he an owner?
You know what? John Elway was a GM for a minute. Why don't we just go to the Googles?
Yeah, we gonna have to.
Because I think he became a GM for the Broncos, right?
Yeah, I that's why he was missing on the list for this year, which was kind of surprising. But also Rand Carthon, a former running back for, he's the GM for Tennessee, the Titans. So I mean, given those names of teams, makes it interesting too because the only one I really trust is John Lynch from San Francisco right now.
Yeah, and he's proven why. Okay, so John Albert Elway Jr.
Okay,
that
Jr.
is okay.
I
didn't know his full name until now. Yes, he was the former general manager of the Denver Broncos.
I didn't know he stepped down at any point.
I probably just wasn't paying attention.
That's surprising, but interesting. And of course, he's got connection with the team too. Like, you know, he played there before and won a Super Bowl there. Mm-hmm. So he's got plenty of connection. And obviously, people would have wanted to play behind him. But it just makes it interesting to see like former players being GMs. You just don't see that. But I think a defensive player being a GM it gives you a little bit of. I think it gives me a little bit of pause, to be honest, because. Is he going to understand enough offensively to build this offense?
Yes. Okay, so now that you put it that way, maybe that's what made me pause because you're right. While it doesn't happen often, a former player becoming a GM is not far-fetched. Mm-hmm. It works. But you're right. It's that he's a defensive player. And I am a fan of defense. Like, I have said it before, I followed defenses as a child. That's how I became a Packers fan. Like, I follow defenses. Like, that's the beginning and end for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not, shading defensive players. It's just that typically they are offensive players like the quarterback because
Yep.
they lead the team,
Yep.
right? And so they have to understand the game differently, and especially from a leadership standpoint. And as the GM, that is a very important job. So, I mean, but he served as the assistant GM for the Panthers.
Yep.
And to your point, he's been around the game a long time. He's been around the business of the game a long time. So now it's up to him to get in the war room and go to war for real.
Yeah, and another question I got for you guys out there as well, as you guys are hitting that subscribe button. If you are over on YouTube, I hope you're doing that because we're gonna take you all the way through not only this GM hire, but the head coaching hire, the draft, and all of that. So,
Hey, they be lighting us up on Facebook.
Oh yeah, they be mad. They be mad, but go on Facebook too if you a Facebook person. Okay, yeah, they be mad because they be like, the Panthers is making me mad, so I'm gonna take it out on y'all. That's what be happening. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, you know how you have a bad day,
They be nice to me,
you know.
but I don't know about you.
I think they be mad at me because I be too optimistic. Okay, they be like, we want some realness. Okay,
Right.
I'm being real, but I'm spinning it a different way. You know, spinning it.
You
a
tried
different
to
way.
be nice. DJ is a nice guy. That's what that is. I'd be like, this is trash.
But it's interesting because with Dan Morgan being the GM, it makes you wonder, is David Tepper making the right moves already? Because it's an in-house hire, so you're not overhauling anything, and it makes you think, is it about what you know or who you know? Because that's the old cliche.
Both. Mostly, okay, I'm just going to keep it a buck. You're not going to give me a mic and have me play in these people's faces.
Have you muted?
No, not muted. But the fact of the matter is, like, especially the way the owner has been acting out, like, I don't even want to call him a child because that's the distant children. But, like, he's a moron, bro, at this point. Like, and I'll say it to anybody. I don't care. Like, that is moron behavior. You don't throw drinks on fans. You don't run your team like it's a fantasy league. That's how he's running the Panthers, which is why people have lost so much faith in the team. It's like, this is not your fantasy league, computer league with your boys. This is a whole business.
Yeah.
A big business.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of the lack of faith is you feel like, and everybody I talk to, whether it be around the office, whether it be outside of here, whether it be even responding to y'all's comments, is like we feel like we're on this never-ending hamster wheel of mediocrity, or even less.
Yeah, what's less than mediocre?
I mean,
I'm like, y'all got the Cowboys looking good. And Jerry Jones was so mad. He was so mad during the Packers-Cowboys game. That little paper he had was stressed out. He was all rolled up hitting stuff. I'm like, but you know what? At least he ain't throwing ice on fans. If you want to hit stuff in your press box or in your suite, fine. If you want to fuss in your suite, fine. It is your team. What you cannot do is assault fans with ice.
yeah, that's true.
You can't do that. And so we talk about it often, leadership starts at the top. And there's a trickle-down effect. And you look at your organization and wonder why it's falling apart. Look at the leadership.
Yeah.
You throwing stuff on fans.
Yeah. And I think the way I led that was I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Back, it was a couple of weeks ago now, but, it was disappointing to see somebody of that stature act in that way. You are the, I understand the human reaction of the frustration, but you can't let it get to you.
Okay, wait. Now, I am the tantrum thrower. I have thrown a phone, had to fix the paint. It was my house, though. I didn't throw it at nobody. Okay. I have kicked the screen door. It bent. I had to fix it. I didn't kick nobody. My toe wasn't broke. Shut up. I did go ouch, and then I had to ask my friend's man to fix it as I was kicking him out. I done put a few friends in the headlock, but that's friendly rivalries. He threw ice at fans, people who pay to come see your team, people who are patronizing your business. You go throw ice at him, and it was unprovoked. Also, I'm the person that's like, fans need to stay in a fan's place. Like, I hate it when they talking crazy and make personal remarks to players, especially like in the NBA where you're closer to them. Like, you can't do that. So even if they had provoked him or said something to him or had thrown ice at him first because fans step out of line, and I'm the first to be like, out of here, never coming back again because I'm bang on you back. You're not gonna hit me.
Right.
But it just looked unprovoked. Like it looked like they were complaining and being fans in the moment, and he just was like, bloop. Now see, now when I throw the ice back, now I'm gonna be to the jail under the stadium. See, and they did find him pretty nice for that. But that's
never getting back in.
Exactly, I'm gonna be banned from all the NFL games. But also, that was even a drop in the bucket. I'm like, that was a little tax write off for you. But to your point, it's good to be optimistic. Fans in the comments are not optimistic, and I'm with you. I understand. So do we give him a chance to make this right?
I think, and I talked about this before too, and I don't think you were on when I mentioned this, but I feel like this is probably the most important offseason for David Tepper. If he can make the right head coaching decision, I think all of his wrongs are somewhat forgiven. Because if you make the right coaching decision and that turns the team, because they talk about it all the time.
Fans have short memories.
Winning is the best deodorant. As long as you win, we don't care how bad the offensive line is. We don't care how bad the receivers may play. We don't care. Look. It's funny because they talk about how the best receivers lead the league in drops. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to get it back. They're going to get it back.
Because they trust him.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said then, who, in your opinion, is the best person for the job as head coach?
I'm trying to think of who else is left also. Don't bring Brandon Staley up in here. We already seen what happened. What happens on that? I want a Bobby Slowick, right? Like I want somebody like that. I want a young offensive mind that's completely different than because from what I know of the Panthers are very old school. But
does that work to their benefit, or do we need to get some new blood and step it up?
And that's what I'm saying. They kind of got as my grandma would say, they kind of got an old soul, right? So but when you got an old soul in football, it continues to move, right? In music, the classics are the classics. You can still play them over and over again. But once football moves from you, you got to move with it.
Yes. And the game has changed and evolved a lot.
The game has changed, and that's why I'm saying you can get a older defensive coach that's going to let your offensive coordinator do his thing. Or you can get a young offensive mind, a Shanahan, a McVay, one of those, a LaFleur, kind of like we talked about before, a guy who's going to completely change what your offense looks like.
And bring new energy into the space. Because that's what LaFleur did for the Packers. That's what AB has done for the Raiders. And I know we're going to get to that, but you're right. Like, you have to get some new energy, some new blood flow. And to your point about there's nothing wrong with having old school values. Even, sometimes you got to pull out them old school schemes too. But to dwell there is not a good look. And bringing in a coach that is younger, vibrant, has a different skill set will bring new life into your team and into your offense. And he has to find a coach that can get into the heart and soul of Bryce Young. And can tap in there, because there has to be that type of connection. That's what we saw with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers when he first came, and now that Jordan Love is under center, you see that they have a connection.
Yeah,
because that's special too.
Do you think the Panthers are waiting? Because
waiting for who?
Here's the thing, right? Because they're interviewing a lot of people, interviewing Ravens coordinators because they're still in the playoffs, 49ers coordinators because they're still in the playoffs, right? But they could be waiting on maybe a Mike Tomlin, right? Because the Steelers have talked about potentially moving on from him, but that also depends on who the replacement is. So maybe they're waiting on somebody who may have veteran leadership but is a leader of men.
But how late now? And okay, so that's the thing. Mike Tomlin is old school, and that's where it's a catch-22. Because remember, we were just on the whole new blood, new energy, young fella. Unless you have a Mike Tomlin and Andy Reid, and I'm not saying Andy Reid for the job. I'm saying that level of coach, old school coach, who is a leader of men and can speak to the leader in these men. Yeah. And get them to rally around what it is that they're doing. Because now that is the beauty of those old school coaches. Those old school coaches know how to tap into the souls of their players.
Yeah.
Where some of these other old school coaches are like, do as I say, what I said, and that doesn't work anymore.
Can I ask you another question? This one's for y'all out there too. What about Pete Carroll?
Listen, I'm a Pete Carroll fan. I am. His biggest blunder in the world was not going to beast mode, and they lost the Super Bowl. He will forever live with that over his head. But I am a Pete Carroll fan, and I'm probably a little bit biased because he used to be the coach at USC when I covered sports and covered sidelines in Southern California. But the fact of the matter is that he is a defensive mind that knows what to do, has learned to stay out of the way of his offensive coordinators. Like, he trusts them. Yeah. He has had his flaws, but all good things must come to an end, right? But when he had the pieces, he made it happen. I couldn't stand USC, and yes, I'm from California, so to me, the USC, the University of Southern California. Not this other one over here on this side of the world. I know I'm just going to be in here just causing trouble today. I don't even care, child.
Come on, man. You can't call that South Kakalaki like that.
It's literally called the University of Southern California.
Well, it's funny.
Who started first?
I will say this. When I was getting into colleges and stuff like that, and I was like, what's USC? Is that University of South Carolina? My dad, he was like, no, that's Southern Cal. So I will say that.
In California, amongst the UC system, there is always a big debate between UCLA and Cal Berkeley because they are University California LA and University California Berkeley. But they always go back and forth as to who did it first. So I'm like, maybe we just need to look it up and see which institution was created first. But during the time that I'm talking about Pete Carroll, to bring it back to what we were talking about, is USC is in Southern California, of course, and I couldn't stand them. I love UCLA, but you got to respect Pete Carroll. And he's old school. He's a leader of men. He can tap into the souls of these men, but also he's vibrant, even though he's an older dude. And, in this business, it age you quicker than you want to. But he's still just very vibrant, and he's always been like that. And that was back in the early 2000s. Also, he was the coach that lost to Vince Young. So, this was a long time ago, but his spirit is jovial and youthful and fun, and he enjoys the game of football, and he loves defense, and he's old school defense. So if we go in old school like that, I know it negates everything we just said, but I'm here for that. Yeah. I would Pete Carroll. And now the thing is, because this is the Carolinas, and y'all could be a little old school. He's a different kind of old school because he's from the West. And y'all don't necessarily like to embrace some of the things that we bring from the West Coast. You feel me? So it's not a matter of Pete Carroll being ready for this. It's when y'all be ready for Pete Carroll.
That's true. Yeah, I like that. That's a good point. Speaking of coaches that galvanize their teams, leader of men, Antonio Pierce, your guy.
Listen.
Look, we talked about it last time. We were hoping for it. And he was officially hired as the Raiders head coach. Some of the other coaching vacancies that happened too, that were filled, I should say. Gerard Mayo for New England, Brian Callahan for Tennessee. Bill Belichick is heavily rumored to Atlanta, but not quite yet. So
until the ink dry, I don't believe it.
Right.
I don't believe nothing until the ink is dry.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about any of those things? I know Pierce was a guy we specifically brought up.
Oh, Antonio Pierce in Oakland? They would have been dumb to not do that. It's like the dude is already there in your system. He's already, he took the spirit of that team and turned it up a notch or two. Those fellas believe in him. They respect him as a player. They respect him as a coach. They respect him as a man. He can speak to the hearts and souls of that team. And, I mean, he really does embrace everything that the Raiders are. I really miss the Raiders being in Oakland because while Oakland is changing now, but once upon a time, when I lived in Oakland, the Warriors were representative of that spirit. Not these new Warriors. The Warriors that were in Oracle, which is why they called it Roracle, because that thing was jumping. But the city and the spirit of those teams is It's grimy, it's gritty, it's strong, it's proud. It's run up in your face. You don't want none of this. You bap. You know that ain't really the thing in Vegas, but that's what the spirit of that team is. And I feel like that overflow has has sifted into these now Vegas Raiders, but he embodies that as well. That was a great choice for them.
Yeah. I think so too. I think him and Gerard Mayo for kind of similar reasons. Like Gerard Mayo, I don't know if he's necessarily been able to show it like outwardly to everybody else, but he's a former New England Patriot too. He's been around the Super Bowl team, been around Bill Belichick. He understands the discipline of what that team needs. They don't have to start by getting him a quarterback that can do some things, but
because they gonna blame him as soon as it don't work.
But they got a decent pick, so and it's a deep quarterback draft, so that'll be. I think if they can find a quarterback, I think Buffalo and Miami and I don't know what the Jets doing, but if Aaron Rodgers come back right, if Aaron Rodgers come back right.
Aaron Rodgers don't sit down. I mean, I guess he'll be healed next season. I'm glad he didn't try to come back at the end of this season because that was just looking so prideful and egotistical. Like, sir, if you don't sit down and heal somewhere, you is old. And not you are old. I know how to speak. I'm saying you is old. What I do need AP to do, though, is tell them to cut out these cigar smoking videos for mediocre wins. Like, I'm like, okay, listen, I'm all about the celebration, but act like you know how to win for real. And also, I just think Crosby want to troll people now.
Let's bring that up real quick because the Chiefs have posted a video. I think it was targeted. They had posted a video saying we ain't gonna dance yet, and the Ravens been hitting. They've been hitting all kinds of moves.
They be having fun.
They be hitting all kinds of moves. What do you think of that? Is that the Chiefs being a little bit petty?
They being petty because they can't dance.
Or
they being petty because they can't dance. I said what I said.
So you think that's a shot at the Ravens?
Yes, absolutely. But your quarterback sounds like Kermit the Frog and has no swag, so he can't dance. Your receivers, what Travis Kelce gonna dance? No.
I'm not gonna write you a love song.
Exactly. That's not her song, fool.
It's not. I thought it was.
I'm not gonna write you a love song.
Ain't that her?
Cause you asked for it.
Ain't that her?
No, it's
not. Look at her. That's her. That's Taylor.
No, it's not.
It's gotta be.
It's one of the. It's one of the other.
That's Taylor.
It's not.
That's Taylor.
I'm looking. No, it's
That's
not.
Taylor
It used
right
to be
there.
on our Verizon
I'm a
wireless.
Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm saying.
Oh my God.
I know Swift. I know some Swift.
No,
stuff.
it's not. It's Kobe Calais, isn't it?
Where's that Katy Perry? No.
It's Sarah.
But didn't she redo it or something?
I can't.
I thought Taylor Swift redid that. Or
I
something
don't
like
know Taylor Swift songs.
I don't either. That's why.
But that's not one of them.
Shake it. Like that.
Well, you clearly are not dancing for the Ravens.
The way my moves look, I might be. You seen John Harbaugh? You see that?
Well, John, but I'm saying the fellas on the field be getting it in, and that's become so viral. But of course, that's already part of the culture over there. But yeah, that was totally a shot at them. But my thing is, you can dance when you can back it up, and they've been backing it up, and also they're having fun. When a team is having fun, it shows, and you're allowed to have fun when you're winning. Mm-hmm. The Kansas City Chiefs are not going to do that because they weren't supposed to be here. They and according to that score last week, if it wasn't for another missed kick, they wasn't going to be here again. So let's keep it a buck. What we used to do a cheer. Look at the scoreboard and see what you got. I said, yeah, exactly. So when you look at the scoreboard, the Ravens banged on the Texans. Mm-hmm. The Kansas City Chiefs did not bang on the Bills. Mm-hmm. Like,
and the thing about the Ravens too is, I mean, they've done that to multiple very good teams.
Exactly, and the Chiefs slid in. They were in the wild card at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not typical behavior for them. They're typically sitting at home waiting.
Yeah.
They slid in by the hair of their chinny chin chin. So you shut up. That's what I have to say. Hush. Go dance. I will say the highlight of that game for me was Jason Kelce.
Oh.
I love Jason Kelce. And I'm so happy that he did not allow this newfound fame to change who he is. I kind of sensed that he was going to retire before he announced it just because of his demeanor in that game. Like, And he's like, listen, I'm aging out. I ain't got time for this. But he just wants to wear his flip flops, and people were talking about because he just wears his jeans and his he's like, I'm not a fashionista. I
Yeah.
come to work. My job is football. And so then people were like, but he carries a Louis Vuitton bag, and I'm like, also he didn't buy that bag. His quarterback did because that was his present to his O-line. But even if he did, a $3,000 bag is like a $30 bag to him because he's in a different tax bracket. Like, mind your tax bracket and shut up.
Yeah.
But also, that's just him. He's like, now I'm back to being a dad, a girl dad at that. Them little girls keep him in line. I'm kicking with my wife, kicking with my family, and I'm going to come be embarrassing at my little brother's game and not wear my shirt.
So
But he could act like that because he's at home on the couch. The Kansas City Chiefs, to answer your question, no, they can't dance because they are not the Ravens. The Ravens have been doing their thing. I am pulling for Lamar Jackson like nobody's business. I forgot that he negotiated his own contract. They so mad at that black man. They are so mad at him for no reason.
You talking about the inaccurate running back that they claimed that once led the league in touchdown passes and rushing also. But anyway,
I'm saying they want him to be a bad guy so bad. He has not done anything to embarrass himself, his family name, or the team.
Oh, I forgot. The same guy that wasn't worth his contract when the team was 8-3 earlier this season. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pulling for him so tough. Like, I loved seeing that exchange between him and C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud is the truth too.
Yes,
he got next. But I love seeing that exchange where he was like, "Hey, bro, like keep your head up, like you got next. You're him."
Yeah.
But y'all better put some respect on Lamar Jackson's name, and that man is keeping his 10% or 12% or 15% right there in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
His receivers,
give it to his mama.
Mm-hmm. His receivers are dancing because they got something to dance about. He puts the ball up, they break it down. People was talking trash about OBJ too, talking about, and this is all comments on Instagram, whatever. Like, OBJ just comes in and slides in where, some people have already built. And I'm like, listen, if I'm OBJ, that's me all day. You guys want to go to the Super Bowl?
And the thing is, like, look at
call me.
But also look at the teams he started on: the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. Like, yeah, I want a little bit, like, listening to Brandon Marshall talk about not ever making the playoffs. It'll make you say, yeah, I'm gonna go over here to this winning team and help somebody else win.
Yeah, well, because was it the Rams? They don't win the Super Bowl if they don't have OBJ.
Yeah.
Those two key moves on defense and offense, like, is why they ended up winning that Super Bowl. So anyway, keep on dancing, have fun, bang on the Chiefs next week.
We're gonna get into that real quick. I know we wanted to talk about the previous games and what happened. So, like you said, the Ravens beat the Texans 34-10. The Chiefs beat the Bills 27-24 off of a missed kick that just reminded me of a Billy Cundiff kick that I have repressed for about 10 years now. The Niners beat the Packers 24-21 off another missed kick, and then the Lions beat Tampa Bay 31-23. Did anything really stick out to you? From
I got something to say to people that just be having short memories and it gets on my nerves. That wouldn't happen if we had Crosby. Did y'all forget that Crosby had 5 missed field goals in one game? Did we forget that? Crosby never did that. Yes, he did. Shut up. Now, I am of the belief that you have one job. You need to do your one job well, because it is the difference in the game. Like, our defense showed up in a way that I was like, yes. Also, okay, this is a sidebar. I've been on the show enough times for y'all to know I'm a sidebar queen. Simone Biles' husband got pushed down. And somebody posted it on Instagram and said, what y'all wanted to do to Simone Biles' husband when he said she didn't know who he was. But I don't even remember who it was. It was just somebody bigger than him, because he's not a very big dude.
Yeah.
And it was like, boom, like, just sit down.
I saw somebody else say, I would have loved to have seen Simone Biles during the game, because it's not like she's not an Olympic gold medalist or anything.
Right, but her husband don't do nothing for us to pander to him. Like, Anyway, Yeah, like I'm like fans, y'all have such. I'm a fan too, but I'm just not unrealistic. And even one of my friends messaged me and was like, "I miss Crosby." I said, "Girl, why? Did we forget?" And she's like, "I did forget about that." I said, "Honey, I carries receipts. Like, no." And so it is what it is. Like my dad used to say, "Hey, hey, hey, you beat yourself when you do those things. Penalties, flags, missed kicks." You do beat yourself, and he say, and it goes back to haunt you. He from Mississippi, and he does not say haunt. He's hey, it'll haunt you every time, and it does come back to haunt you. Again, Jordan Love threw that interception, but also that dude was like right there, perfectly ready to. He did his job. Like there's you throwing an interception, being all willy nilly, and then there's the defense doing their job. And in critical times, you got to lock in, you got to pay attention. But we wouldn't even be having this conversation if you had made the kick. So woulda, coulda, shoulda. We're moving onward and upward next season. And that's the other thing, though. No season is like the one before. There's injuries. Players get traded. Players retire.
That division is gonna be slam packed next year.
You said what?
That division is gonna be slam packed next year. With the Lions being who the Lions are right now,
Ooh,
with
yeah.
the Bears improving, they should. We'll see.
They should.
They
We'll
are the
see.
Bears.
Listen, the Niners.
And the Vikings getting back healthy. Also,
What happened?
the Vikings getting back healthy.
Excuse me?
The Vikings getting back healthy. They're gonna be, they're gonna be a force.
Did I have to remind you the teams that I hate the most? The Vikings, the Bears, the Niners. The Lions have not bothered me because, let's be honest, the Lions have not been in the conversation
They
to
had a
this
reason to.
degree. No. No, they haven't. But I appreciate the story. I'm one for storylines, and I appreciate this storyline. They said they ain't been to the playoffs since Barry Sanders. I'm 43 years old. When Barry Sanders retired, I was a child.
Yeah.
A teen,
Really?
at least. So I'm like, you know what? And there was one of their players, again, I can't think of his name, but again, social media, he was taking it all in the other night, and they said that he grew up in Detroit and he was a Lions fan. And so for him to now be on this team that is winning like this, like that's full circle. That's like when Marshawn went back to play for the Raiders. Like,
Yeah.
But no, I said, people were like, well, we were going to cheer for the Packers if y'all beat the Niners. I said, well, we are not the same. I'm not cheering for y'all. I'm cheering for the Lions. And I got the Lions and the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I think, yeah.
At which point I'll be cheering for the Ravens.
Because you'll definitely have a reason because you can't cheer for the Lions at that point, right? There's no way.
No,
Even
and
for
I'm
the
always,
story.
listen, I was also taught we cheer for the black quarterback, child. This is such a time in history. I think about my dad often because when we were growing up, he said we always cheer for the black quarterbacks because there was a stigma that black quarterbacks were not smart enough to lead. And then it was that black quarterbacks are not fundamentally sound and they run. And it wasn't until old boy from Florida. What's that man's name?
Tebow?
No.
Oh,
yes, Tebow.
Yeah.
He can run. Excuse me? Shut up. We've been doing this.
You're talking about a truly inaccurate quarterback.
Exactly. I'm like, shut up. That's going to be my thing. Shut up. But to the historic value of it all, for me personally, too, like I said, like when I was coming up, it was like you could count on one hand how many black quarterbacks there were, right? Now there's what, 12? 15?
Yes.
But even down to seeing Lamar Jackson, I thought about my dad so tough during this time because also people listening, my father grew up in the Jim Crow era. He was like, in the 60s when we couldn't vote and all of it. Like, there's been so much progression to the league. And I'm like, to see these two young black men at the top of their game, starting quarterbacks here in the playoffs, it warms my heart. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm cheering for Lamar Jackson all day, every day. But also, I'm just not going to be cheering for the Lions. If it was now wait, if for some odd reason, because I know you're a Ravens fan. You see, DJ didn't know he was wearing green for me today, and I wore purple for him, and he didn't even know.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at God. No, if for some odd reason, the oddest of odd reasons, the Kansas City Chiefs are in, I'm cheering for the Lions. Okay. I'm not cheering for the Chiefs. I'm annoyed. I'm just annoyed. Then we got to watch Travis do this again with his... Sir, knock it off. All of this for show foolishness, they get on my nerves.
Let's jump into that. So let's start with the Lions and the Niners. Because I think Actually, I think no. The Lions they play second, but let's get it. Let's start. With the Lions and the Niners.
Yeah.
And the Lions have been a story. I tell you, this whole season. I've been on the wrong side of Lions history this year because I have not believed in them all year.
So you didn't pick them on your week-to-week picks?
Absolutely not. Every time I picked against them.
Well, but because so for me, I pick against them for obvious reasons. They're a division rival, but you picked against them because you didn't believe.
I thought they were. I thought they were set up for disappointment. Yeah, I mean, I did, but they proven me wrong time and time again. Time and time again.
See, I'm honest. I'm like, that's a good team. That's why I got to cheer against them.
I don't think they're not good. I just thought they were set up for disappointment. I mean, not a hater. I might be a hater of the Bills.
Y'all can't see his head is that. Jeez.
I might be a hater for the Bills because what have the Bills done?
What have you done for me lately?
Just saying. But anyway,
well, the Lions, the Packers lost to them the first time, beat them on Thanksgiving. But just watching them, I was like, that's a good team. Yeah. Which is why I hope they bring it to the Niners. I mean, bam, in the chest. And I'm cheering for their quarterback, too. I think what they've done well is they've gotten that team to rally around the quarterback and to rally around each other and to believe and to tap in and lock in to the goal. And that's the thing. You mentioned it earlier about coaches. When your coach can get everybody to tap in, when your quarterback can get everybody. That's what's so special about Jordan Love is those men believe in him. Mm-hmm. And I think that might be the problem with the Panthers is that there's so much disarray. They don't believe in the coach that they had. Mm-hmm. And it's not that
the quarterback hasn't been here long enough to believe it's so much dysfunction. How do you believe in anything?
Yes, but also he's young.
Yeah.
And there's an immaturity, and I don't mean like in a bad way, but he's just immature. So like you have some of these men who are edging into their 30s, and he's like, "Come on, guys," and it's like, "Nah, come on, guys." It's like it's different. Yeah. Unless you Patrick Mahomes, like his body language say that, and his voice say, "Come on, guys." Even Brock Purdy, they believe in Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy be walking in the post game, we laugh so hard with his backpack. He be like, "Hi guys, I'm just happy to be here." He be having his thing. Hi guys, my name's Brock Purdy. I play starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm just really happy to be here. K. But his guys believe in him. Yeah. So that's what Detroit's doing very well. Clearly they're playing well on the field, but the camaraderie and the spirit, the heart and soul of that team is intact.
Yeah. I think this matchup is more even than the Chiefs-Ravens matchup. I think you got two really good defenses, but I also think on the other side you got two really good offenses.
Yes, you do.
And I think when it comes down to that, it comes down to two things. It comes down to coaching, who do I trust more, and it comes down to quarterback play. I'm gonna rule the coaching out because you got a guy who's.
No, I want to know who do you trust more because you said it.
I'm saying I'm gonna rule the coaching out because Kyle Shanahan, offensive genius, Dan Campbell, really good defensive coach. So, like, they kind of cancel each other out.
Okay, so you're saying all is fair in love and football.
So then I got to go to the quarterback that I believe in the most.
Okay.
And, I mean, neither one of them really turned the ball over that much. That Niners defensive line, I think, can really get after Jared Goff, and that's when he is the most uncomfortable you'll ever see him. Is when he got to fall down.
His sternum.
When he got to fall down on the ground, like.
Do you want to fall down on the ground?
Look, because he can't run.
Because he can't. You're not talking about because they hitting him, but because he to the point where they like, hey, bro, we be telling him to slide. Yeah. He will not slide to save his life. Yeah. Like he be running for his life. That's what that is.
So,
but Brock Purdy, I think if they get to him early and quickly, then maybe they can get to him here. Yeah, get in his head a little bit.
Yeah,
because that's what I noticed last week too. Once things start to get shaky, he gets a little he's like, oh, where that's what Jordan Love has done well, especially as a new quarterback, is that when things get shaky, he still stays focused.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason his team rallies around him the way that he does. That's true leadership. Things get rocky. We gonna ride through the storm with Jesus, and keep focused. I feel like he gets nervous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so if you keep tapping at that thing,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the struggle I got because I think it's pretty even matchup. I'm
Like
gonna go with the Niners.
Stallone say you
Go with the
keep
Niners.
banging the body and the head will fall. That's what I think. You know, you will go with it. You get on my nerves, DJ. Just when I be trying to be your friend. He just want to be my op so bad.
But look,
even my waves don't want to talk to you. I'm like, ooh, they so pretty. They don't even want to talk to you. They trying to swim back this way now.
not like.
Now, why are you choosing the Niners? You gonna have me pulling my frameless glasses off my face?
Cause I can literally flip a coin and who wins this game wins this game.
So why you can't just say Detroit then?
Because
you want to get on my nerves. You know what? I'm blocking you on Sunday. He gonna text me last Sunday or Saturday talking about he could hear me yelling from his apartment, and I was. And
look, I'm going with the Niners. I'm sticking with it.
England
all right?
with the Niners.
But it could go either way. It could go with okay. You going with the Lions? I mean, you already said it earlier, but what you think? The Lions?
Duh.
The Lions, because Detroit.
Yeah. Listen, the city of Detroit needs this. That's what I believe. And people, like I said, y'all can be at my throat about it anyway. You're from California. You're from Northern California. You should be cheering for your team. They're in Santa Clara. They're not in San Francisco. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm inviting myself on next week just so I can yell at you. You get on my nerves.
You might have reason to. The Chiefs at the Ravens. How you feeling?
I want the Ravens.
How you feeling?
I told you already. If you've been listening this long, what have you heard me say, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay. I'm just confirming it.
Oh, my daddy's name is Lamar too.
Oh, really?
Look, I got all the reasons to cheer for them. They gotta put. I'm even go down to being a girly girl, and their colors is cuter.
I mean, I like the purple. They wearing all black though. They come in mercenary style.
The black is sick.
They wearing all black this week.
The black is sick. Now that's when they wear all black, I'll be like, oh, they came to bring the heat. They came to bring the thunder. Yeah.
I feel like in the previous Ravens Chiefs matchups, especially as Lamar Jackson has been quarterback, I think he's 1-2, if I'm not mistaken, against the Chiefs. And in those previous matchups, there was one X factor that tended to put the Ravens away.
And that was
Tyreek Hill. Now.
Oh, they was talking about that on First Take this morning because the conversation was people just be making up stuff to talk about, I think, because we ain't got nothing else to talk about right now. They was saying Patrick Mahomes is a GOAT like Tom Brady. Get out of here. That is so dumb. That even makes sense.
He got a long way to go. I'm
like, if you want to be making up stuff, like and of course it was a big long conversation, but Stephen A, I often agree with him because he be getting on nerves too, but that's fine. That's his job to get on people's nerves. He does his job well. He was saying, he basically mentioned the fact that Tom Brady had longevity. Mm-hmm. And so you like comparing those two, cool, the stats of this or that, but like, ain't nobody gonna be 42 years old and still be winning championships. And the fact of the matter is, he left one storied franchise, which he was the best part of the story, and then went over to the Bucs and then also won a Super Bowl. Like, ain't nobody else doing that.
Yeah.
You left coaches and systems and still, now mind you, they did bring over a few of his pieces, but the point is, he did it both ways. And Tom Brady used to get on my nerves when he was a part of the conversation, but I'm one of those fans. I don't love you till you gone and then I missed you. Yeah. I'm toxic. Okay, fine. Yeah. But one of them made a good point. I'm one of the TV watchers that's a listener. The point is that he had Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. And Tyreek Hill is a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's an OBJ.
Yeah.
He changed the dynamic in Miami.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that anymore. And they try real hard to make Travis Kelce. I mean, he's a tight end, and he's very good at what he does. Mm-hmm. But he's not a receiver.
Yeah. And I think, too, the reason why I say Tyreek Hill, number one, he's the fastest football player on the planet, right? Like,
he just need to make better decisions.
He's indefensible. Probably in a variety of ways. He's indefensible on the field, right? And he just finds ways to finds ways to get open, right? And when at that time the Ravens didn't have a pass rush, they were league worst in sacks. The Ravens get after you now, and they don't have to blitz. They still gonna get after you. So without that key piece, I find it hard to see the Chiefs winning this game. But I will also say, for Travis Kelce, there's a first-round pick on the other side of the field named Kyle Hamilton, who is going to be matching up with him stride for stride, who has been balling, all-pro, second year in the league.
At you.
So, like, and he can do it all, right? Like, I mean, he just can. So they put him on Travis Kelce, and then I gotta worry about Marquez Valdez Scantling, your boy. I gotta worry about him beating me.
My boy.
Huh? I gotta worry about him beating me. Now I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying matchup wise.
Yeah. Oh no, this is gonna be one heck of a matchup. I almost wish it was the late game.
I do too.
But back to the dancing. That's what I was gonna say too. When you were asking me about, were they being petty? Yes, they're being petty. Them boys over there can dance. They got something to dance about. But also, can we check the franchise history when it comes to dancing? Ray Lewis had the best.
Also, I do want to say this, because they said that is one of my favorite dances. They said I can hit that one now.
Girl hit it live. Did you see that during the pregame? She was interviewing Ray Lewis. They was coming through the hall, and oh gosh, I can't think of her name, but I was scared because listen, I've been live a bunch of times, and especially on national TV, and you hit the wrong step, and then you gonna go viral, and then it was gonna be a whole thing about the raisins and the dance. You already. Yep. Some of y'all caught what I was saying, but she hit it. I was like I had to rewind. I said, because she said I've been practicing, and he was like, "Oh, you gonna do it?" And you could tell that he was like, "Oh no." Yeah. He didn't say that because he's respectful, but he was like, "Oh, you gonna do it?" And she was like, "Yeah, I've been practicing." Yeah. And she was like, "Okay." He said, "Okay, let's hit it," and she hit it like step for step. I said, he still got it. That is a big old handsome man that's light on his feet, and I love big old men that are light on their feet. And I wish more men would take it. I'm always gonna have a mental health break. I wish more men would take time to just dance in their element. And several football players have been doing that lately, and I love it.
Yep. That's true.
So they have a history of dancing, but they have something to dance for.
That's true. And you brought up a good point, too. And I was just going to say this. I was going to throw this out here. I don't want no response from y'all out there. All right.
So what he said is go to the comments and respond.
The Chiefs are not a dynasty. Everybody thinks the Chiefs are this dynasty.
No,
they might be an AFC Championship dynasty. They got that.
Wait, how many Super Bowls do they have now?
They got two.
No, that's not dynasty.
But I think to be a dynasty, and this is my personal opinion, to be a dynasty, you got to win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Probably more so 3 in a row, not 2 in a row.
Yeah, the Patriots did that. They had the back-to-back.
The Lakers did a three-peat. They were a dynasty. The Warriors deserve some credit for being a dynasty, but
Lakers get on my nerves. But I think the thing is, because even the Packers, when people don't call the Packers a dynasty, they're a legendary team, though, with a history, with a winning history.
Right.
So you're right. Like, the Patriots went through their dynasty era, dynasties fall, and that's what we're seeing happen now. Whereas teams like, and even Kansas City, the Steelers, like they're legacy teams with traditions of winning. So and a culture of winning. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. People just want to paint this. They be just trying so hard to just paint this story. You just be like, you know what?
Erase. Anyway.
Not erase.
Anyway.
I'm so sick of you. Oh, wait. I'm not letting you get out of here without the dance. You told me you could hit it.
Oh, I hit it like that? I can't hit it in the chair, though. In the chair,
I just did it in the chair?
The chair. Like,
okay, then stand up. You got the video right there. Come on. Like, you can stand back right here. Go ahead.
I can't hit it in the chair. You gotta hit the little move like that. And the move like that. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do.
He don't want to stand up and do it for y'all. What you scared of? You scared you go jinx it?
That's behind the paywall. The dancing behind the paywall. Okay,
you gotta go. You gotta go to your Patreon.
Y'all don't get all the singing and all the dancing for free. Okay, I'm just saying.
You gotta go to his Patreon.
The moves like that, you might get that.
I'm weak. All right, I'm gonna let you off too. But if they win, you gotta do it next week.
I see what I can do.
Nah, if they win, you got to do it next week because we can't bet. The bosses ain't gonna let us bet. But I mean, we can bet some lunch, but also we both want the Ravens to win. So so if they win, you got to do it next week. Hit the comments. Don't y'all want to see the DJ Beal hit the squirrel?
I see what I can do.
Squirrel on the hey. If not, you got to do the new school dance. I think the old school dance is easier than this new one. The new one, I be on Instagram like, y'all know I got a bad ankle too. I be like, yeah, nah, that ain't gonna work.
Oh man,
He'll do it next week for y'all. Matter of fact, I told y'all I'm inviting myself if the win, should I say, when the Lions win and when the Ravens win. Also, yeah, you're gonna do the dance next week after your Ravens win. You go be the good luck charm.
Okay. I do what you gotta do.
The Niners got that stupid song by PJ or LJ or something and Sweetie. It's so stupid. At least when I'm an E40 fan, that's my guy. When he did Bang Bang Niner Gang, I was like, dang, and it's a banger too. Bang Bang Niner Gang. Like I was like, ugh. This one by Sweetie and them there, and people were like, well, the Packers don't have an anthem. I'm like, we don't need an anthem. Shut up. But y'all got all the dancers, so do your dance.
I expect plenty of dancing. Maybe not for me, but I expect plenty. Maybe next week. Next week, we'll see. But anyway, I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this show. Don't
when I think about Jesus and what He's done for me.
Don't reinforce this.
When I think about Jesus and what He's done for me, I can dance all night. I'm going home.
Look, it's time to go. It's time to go. But make sure that you share the video if you haven't already, and remember that the Keep Prowling podcast is on all major podcasting platforms. Charity, I appreciate you. If I'm gonna have you back, especially if the things come true that we say come true.
Okay.
We might have to come back and reconvene.
No, we are. I told you, I'm just gonna come bust in on whoever in here with you. It's just so y'all can do the dance.
But I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll definitely see you guys on the next episode of the Keep Prowling podcast.
Deuces. Go Lions.
Are there any Panthers topics that you want to hear us talk about? Let us know in the comments below.